Hey, welcome to part 4 in this ramp build series. This will be the final episode in the series. It's been a fun project. I appreciate you watching and coming along with me. We get to mount the railings and the handrails that I made earlier. So it should be fun to see those go up and see how they look. I think it's going to look real nice. So let's go. Let's get it done. Okay, so next I'll go around. I'm going to mark all the posts so I can cut them off and have them at the same height. We're going with 36 5/8 inches. That way we'll come in nicely with the top of it into the existing porch railing here. So I'll get those marked out and then we'll cut them off. Okay, the posts are all off. That looks a little better now, having them all even. Now it's on to the railings. All right, so when you measure for your 2x4s for the railings, you want to measure from the bottom because that's your fixed point. And then if these are off just a little bit, it'll draw them in together, and that way you end up with the same dimensions, top and bottom. I've already gone through and leveled them, so they're all very close, but they may be a 1/4 inch off when you come up your 3 feet from the decking. So I'll get those cut and we'll start putting them in place. I'm marking, someone had asked about this pencil. It's called a Pica dry mechanical pencil. It's awesome. I really love it. It's got a nice thick lead, but you can sharpen it. It comes with this carrying case. It's got a sharpener right on the end. You get a real nice fine point on it. And then I carry around a case of extra leads. They're really handy. Highly recommend it. Okay, so when you're putting the railing on, you want to leave a space underneath the railing so you can sweep snow off or dirt or whatever. So you're not allowed to have more than 4 inches. So what I'm using is just a scrap piece of 4x4. It's nice and solid. I just set it here. I bring my bottom 2x4 down to that, and that sets the gap that I need for the bottom railing. So that comes out to 3.5 inches. So we're under the 4-inch requirement, which is perfect. Okay, so I'm spacing the handrails. I'm setting them in 1/2 inch from the inside of the post. The way I'm marking that, I just take my square up here, put it on the 1/2 inch mark, drop it down, makes a nice straight line, and it's quick and easy. Hi everyone, I just want to take a minute and just answer a question that several of you have had, and that's just regarding the layout of the ramp. And so some of the thought behind that is, for one, we have to have the length of the ramp to get the required slope. So we needed just over 45 feet of ramp in order to maintain our 112 slope. The other reason, we needed to land on the driveway so that it's easy access from ramp to the vehicle. Some were concerned about taking up space in the yard. There's still a nice amount of yard space on the property, and it actually creates a nice little private area where you could have a little patio sitting area, and it's a little bit more of a private section, and then you have your open yard space out there. So I think it's actually worked out quite nice. I can show you around real quick and you can take a look at that. So you see here it leaves a nice walkway to get between the garage and the ramp. So as you come out through here, then you have this nice area that you could use for a patio, sitting area. Maybe put a picnic table out here. And it just makes it a little bit more private, almost kind of fenced in a little bit. The other benefit is you maintain use of the stairs that lead up onto the porch, which is real nice. A little quicker access to use the stairs. And then you have the ramp that comes down here, leading out onto the driveway. As you can see, still a nice amount of yard space. So it's really worked out well. Okay, now we're going to put a piece of 5/4 decking on top of the rail. This really dresses it up and also helps straighten out any waviness that's in the railing. So here you can see the transition detail as it goes into the post. Okay, next, for the balusters, I've cut my 4 3/4 degree angle on the top of here. So just to get the length, I'll put it in tight to a post, push up till it hits the top of the railing, and just mark from behind. Scribe a line right there. And then I'll take it back to the chop saw, and I'll cut just about a 1/4 inch above that line. That way it just gives me enough play in case there's a little bit of variation on the bottom 2x4 post. And then I'll mark my center space across the railing. So right up to the top, measure that. 68 and a quarter. So half of 68 and a quarter would be 34 and an eighth. Mark that. Now I have my center point. The width of the balusters is 1 1/4 inches. So to get, we want the balusters to land on the center. So we want 5/8 of an inch on each side of our center point. So now that we have 5/8 of an inch on each side of the center point, you know, if we line up between those lines, we're perfectly centered. And then once we go and place these, I have a 2x4 block. I can screw this one on, secure it, just the top. And I'll put my block on here. I've cut my 4 3/4 degree angle on the top of the 2x4. I'll just push this up next to it, and I'll space my next block right there. The spacing that you want between each of the balusters has to be below 4 inches. So 2x4 works perfectly for that. It's 3.5 inches. So I'll get a bunch of these cut up, and then we'll knock these out. And yes, just a point of clarification, these are balusters, not to be confused with battens, which are something you would put on the wall of a house or a barn maybe. And also not to be confused with batons, which would be for marching. Alright, so to start, just going to be cutting off the top angle first. I'll be doing 3 balusters at a time. We don't need an exact length. We've got quite a bit of extra to play with. So I'm going to be cutting 3 at a time so we can knock it out quickly. Let's get it done. Okay, so now I've got my stop set up to make the 45-degree cut on this end. It's going to be a 45-degree bevel with the 4 3/4 degree miter cut to it. So all I have to do is make sure I have my long point facing me, and just butt that up to the stop. It sets it up perfectly to cut, so I should be able to cut those out real fast. When you do these kind of things, you want to make sure you're doing it right, because you don't want to burn through and cut, 100 balusters and then find out you cut them wrong. So being real careful to make sure. Now that the first cut, not so critical, because we just need to get the 4 3/4 degree angle on the top. But the second cut, have to make sure that I'm keeping that long point of the cut closest to my body. Okay, let's put some balusters on. First, we're going to secure the center baluster. We'll check it with our level. Perfect. I'm using 2.5-inch screws. By starting in the center, we ensure that we end up with an even space on each side of the balusters in between each section. So now we'll go back along and we'll secure the bottoms. All right, well, so this is exciting. We're finally gonna mount handrails I made. So I've made up these mounting blocks. They're out of pressure treated wood. I'm gonna put them on each of the posts, and then we'll mount the handrail. All right, to mount these handrails, I'm using these 4 3/4 inch GRK screws. GRK, they're pretty much the top of the line when it comes to screws. Don't use them all the time. They're pretty pricey, but they are a great screw. I'm using 4 3/4 so that I can get through both the width of the railing, the mounting block, and then into the 4x4 post. That way it's not relying totally on the block, but it's getting strength from the post and using this more as a spacing block than it is as an anchor. And then also for the end of the railing, I've got a 22.5 degree angle on the end here. That way we can cut another one with a 22.5 here and a 45 on this end. That brings the railing into this post, making a smooth transition. It'll look nice, but it also prevents someone from walking by and getting their jacket caught on it, or maybe walking into it and striking the blunt edge of the rail. To get my length for the measurement on this return part, I can just mount my square right there. That shows me the 45 degree angle coming in. So it comes out to 3 7/8. Be 45 on this end, 22.5 on this end. See right there? That really finishes it off nicely. That's it. That was the last piece. Time to pick up and we'll get out of here. But man, it's been a nice job. It's been fun sharing it with you. I'll clean up and I'll do a little walk around and show you how the ramp came out. So there you have it, the final ramp. Let's take a walk through and see how it goes. You've got your 45 degree turn, makes it nice and easy for rounding.